Welcome back. Welcome back. Sam Wiederhaft with you on the Chant Pod presented by Revolution Mortgage. We are right in the middle of holiday season, and we've got a teal present for you on this week's episode. We're stopping by men's basketball and talking to new head coach Justin Gray as his team gets prepared for the conference season. Coastal is off to a 6-5 start, and Coach Gray and I talked about the fight he has in his team this year, how he's settled into his new job, and the lively crowds we've seen at the HTC Center so far this year. A really fun conversation with a guy that has certainly brought that energy to his group. So here's my conversation with men's basketball head coach Justin Gray. And welcome back to the Chant Pod presented by Revolution Mortgage, where we're headed back to the hoops side of things and talking to the main man on the men's side. It's Chanticleer head basketball coach Justin Gray. Justin, appreciate the time, man. I know it's a busy time for you guys.
Sam, always a pleasure.
Of course.
And to be on this is awesome.
Of course. Just kind of talk me through how the year's gone so far. You've settled in now. You guys are well into your season, getting ready for conference play. But just how have the first few weeks been?
Yeah, it's been good. I think for us, we try to explain to our guys. We break up everything in small parts and try to focus on them. So we say we have 3 seasons. It's a non-conference season, which we're coming to a conclusion here soon, and then going into conference play, and then it's tournament time, right? And so for us, it's trying not to eat the whole elephant in one bite.
Yeah.
It's breaking it down, and I think our guys and our staff have done an excellent job and just trying to build a culture that is going to be prepared to win. And we want to win right away, don't get me wrong, but trying to find the small victories that are in that big battle that we fight.
5-5 so far through the non-conference start of the season. And I got to tell you, man, this team's playing hard. These guys play extremely hard. What's been your evaluation of your group so far?
Yeah, I think, that's part of our core values. One of them is relentless effort, and so that's the price of admission of getting in the game. Like, if you don't practice hard, you can't expect to play hard. And I think our guys are, I think we had to whip some dudes into some shape to do those things. But you can see us growing, and I think that's really important. And I think right now, guys are starting to understand their roles and what we asking of them, and just trying to star in their individual roles.
The big thing when I talk with your players, we've had guys on the show, Battle was on the show, Mick Vicker was on the show, and the big thing they touch on is the energy, and that's the first part of your core value, the edge, is energy. Mm-hmm. What does a typical Justin Gray practice look like to kind of instill that energy in these guys? Yeah,
I think, it's physicality. I think you hear voices, you see a bunch of high fives, ton of communication. And I think you see our coaches doing a great job of coaching, I think Coach Lightfoot has done an excellent job of being able to, coach our defense. That's sort of been the highlight of our program so far. Coach Taylor has done a great job of bringing along our offense and the understanding of, what we're looking for, and our guys feeling comfortable in those areas. And then Coach G with our culture, he does a great job of coaching it, and it's sort of my job to police it, and making sure things are going the way we want. But it's a process, man. You'll hear that word a lot right now for us. And our guys are being proactive in understanding the process takes some time.
Yeah, and we talk about that time and the patience that you have to have with year one of a brand new program, plenty of new players. Just talk me through that patience that you have to have that, not everything's going to get solved right away.
Yeah, it's also knowing the big picture and where you want to go. And I think we have a good understanding of that first. And then, again, it's trying to break things down into small parts, because sometimes if you try to, we're human. I'm human. I want things right away. Same thing for our players. Mm-hmm. When we lose a game, when we come back, what does practice look like? Do we still have the right kind of energy? Are we still working on the discipline and bringing the grit so we can have some kind of excellence down the line? Those are the things that we do that are unseen in practice, and it's the different ideas coaches come up with, the sayings to get them motivated to be able to come in and practice as hard, just like it was a game. And our guys have really, really bought into doing that day in and day out.
Man, the big highlight with this team is the three-point defense. You guys are holding teams 23% from beyond the arc, which is the best in the country. Yeah. Talk me through what that defense looks like and how you guys have been able to be so effective on that side.
Yeah, again, Coach Lightfoot does a great job of teaching the schemes. I think our guys, it's a little different when you go to a normal program or you play in certain ways. A lot of people take away the drives, try to be in the gaps. One of our rules is no catch and shoot threes. You know, so, if a guy's going to make a 3-point shot, it's going to have to be off the dribble or him making a move. And our guys have done a really, really good job of buying into that concept.
That very first game against Western Michigan had a huge crowd. It was a big win for your program. Your very first game here in Conway. And I tell you what, man, being on the PA, I was like, I really got to ramp this up to introduce Coach Gray for his first game. And the response from the crowd was great. The energy in that game was awesome. Just tell me how, anxious, how ready you were to get started for game one.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't play, right? So all our work is sort of done before the game. We come leading up into it. There are times we have to make adjustments and do things, but it's our players, making sure they feel comfortable with the game plan. They know what they're doing, and then more importantly, feeling confident. I think I played before, and sometimes you come into a game, might be every game, you have a little bit of nerves, you have a little butterflies, but that's normal, right? If you didn't, you wouldn't be normal.
Yeah.
What we have to make sure our guys understand is what we asking them to do, and then going out to execute those things. And then when they don't go well, how do we still have them feeling good about what they're supposed to do? And that's the challenge.
Yeah, you talk about that preparation going into each game, and a lot of that stuff's done before the game starts. A lot of it was done to bring fans in before the season. Talk to me about what you guys did out in the community, out around campus to bring fans in and get involved in this program.
Yeah, I think, the big thing when you're building a program is understanding it's not about me, right? And it's all about we as our team and we as a university, we as a community. And so even something as small as basketball camps in the summer, bringing kids in, letting them interact with our guys, going over to the Boys and Girls Club. I've been over multiple times. Just being out and being present is the way you build a program. And it showed up with that first game, but not only that game. Every game we played here, it's been a home court advantage, and we're looking forward to moving into the conference play and doing that as well.
Well, I tell you what.
Or in the classrooms, and everybody here that's on our team and in our program, I feel really, really comfortable with those three things.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things outside of basketball that you've improved as well. I think the main thing is just the social media presence and using that as a tool for, recruitment and also bringing fans in like we talked about. Kind of tell me about those areas that you've addressed outside of the game that you've tried to improve in the program.
Yeah, I think it starts at the top, right? President Benson and making sure that, Chance has done a great job. Those two people have been awesome in understanding how the social media can help us in recruiting and help our guys being seen and help people come to the game. Everybody you see now, shouldn't be, but if you're in their car, they're on their phone. Yeah. Everybody's scrolling, everybody's doing something. You walk around campus, they have that device in their hand. And so that's an easy way for us to be able to be in front of their face and understand what our program is building and what we're all about.
Talking about an individual guy, I think Rasheed Jones been the big standout so far, the leading scorer. He's at 13.1 points a game. But you had him at Western Carolina a couple of years ago. He then goes to junior college, now comes back with you at Coastal. How have you seen that guy grow just as a basketball player and as a person?
Yeah, I just think, I talk about 3 G's a lot. Glory, understanding the talent that he's been given has been bestowed upon him. And I think he recognizes that. I think, the level of gratitude that he's shown, not only to us, but his other coaches and people that have helped him out along the way. And then those things, they show up in growth, right? And it says a lot for a kid in today's landscape to leave a program or leave a coach and then want to come back and play for him, and I think that was the relationship that we had with him as a staff, while we was at our previous institution, and he saw what we did there and he know what we'll build here. Yeah. And it's good to have him a part of it.
How much have you had to rely on those 2 returning guys, Henry Abraham, Braden McVicker, who's not playing right now, but just to kind of get you to learn about just Conway and Coastal and the area, and because they've been here for a few years.
It was I give those guys a lot of credit because it was challenging. Like we didn't recruit him. We didn't know much about him. And we both, we're in a spot to where it was like we were evaluating each other. And I told him when I first got here, nothing's going to be guaranteed. It's not like I'm coming in saying you're going to play this amount of minutes, you're going to do this. Everything you'll get, and everybody that comes in here will earn what they get. And to see that they still wanted to be a part of that, it says something about who they are, right? And, it's unfortunate that Braden got hurt, but it'll be good for him to be around. And I tell him all the time, you have a future here, right? We see it here. We know you can do some things here to help us win some games and go, get up on a ladder one day and cut down some nets. And I hope he feels and he does see that. Henry's been awesome, and, it might not always show up in the numbers, but he is the coastal edge, right? He plays with the right kind of energy day in, day out in practice and games. He's disciplined as crap. He understands the game plan. He executes it. He's tough as nails. Eats, we joke because I call him hen dog and I bark every single time after, and because he's tough, and then he is excellence for us, and for him to come out and earn the right, from his teammates and the other staff members to be able to be voted as captain says a lot about him, so he's done a lot for us and he's will, and, we're just getting started.
Who are some of those guys around the team that have kind of stepped up and impressed you so far this year? I mean, you got Amenhauser, Hines, Molabea, just a lot of guys that you brought into this program. But who's kind of surprised you so far?
I mean, you know what? It's not been one guy, I'm going to be honest. It's a collective group, right? And when you coming into something new and everybody has their own idea of how it should go and what I'm going to be doing and what I should expect, and then sometimes it doesn't go that way. When adversity hits, that's who that's who you are in that adverse moments. And I think all of our guys have tried to respond in the right way, So if you look at our roster, we have a lot of guys that don't have a lot of Division I experience. I think we're in the bottom third in the country in that area. But it doesn't matter because when you got your driver's license, you had zero experience. But you wanted to drive. And then when you first started, you had two hands on the wheel and you was driving 10 and 2. Couple months in, you drop one off, turn the music up. By that 6 months, you got a girl in the passenger seat riding around, right? So you get more comfortable, you have more confidence in those areas, and our guys are just growing as the time has went on.
That's an all-time metaphor right there. I think you put that perfectly. Hey, you talk about turning the music up. You're not listening to rap before noon.
Hey, that is my thing. Somebody gave it to me. I saw it somewhere and I was like, man, that's a great thing because that's all I do is listen to some R&B to calm me down before riding to work, old school, gospel, country. I have it all on my playlist. So I just push shuffle, whatever comes up. I post it every morning. Something I want everybody to get into. It's something fun.
Who was on are you a Spotify guy or are you an Apple Music guy?
Apple Music. Apple Music.
So because I know Spotify has the Wrapped. Apple Music, I don't know what Apple Music has.
They have R&B now.
Okay.
I'll go to country. Okay. I hit a country one, or I go to artists that I've, or what's new. I had, I think Coco Jones this morning. She's an R&B artist and she has a Christmas song out or Christmas little album. So I put that on. That was pretty good. But I love music. I wish, it's one of those things I wish I could do. I'm not a good singer. My voice is like weird when I hear it myself. It's like really deep. Somebody told me I had a voice for late night radio.
So, hey, man, I can hear it. I can definitely hear it. What's the, a lot of guys, a lot of players, right, that they're listening to music before games, trying to get locked in. What's your game day routine? What does a typical game day look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, normally we have shoot around. We have pregame meal. We have a staff meeting, talk about what's going on in the program, what's next. I always go down and do the board. If we're on the road or if we're at home, I'll prepare the board for the guys to come in. So when they walk in, they already see notes for the game. It's weird, man, because as I was an assistant coach, I was one of the guys that was out there with the players and, before the warm-ups and you feel the music, you get the energy, you high-fiving. But when you're the head coach, that's like one of the loneliest moments that you have because there's nobody back there with you. And so I had to come up with my own routine. Again, I count on music. I have a playlist that I listen to, which is mostly gospel music to help me prepare for any sins I might commit during the game or getting on the refs a little bit. But no, that's it. And then, come out and play the game. And then I always say, you know, having joy in what we do is important. So like enjoying it and emoting. Like I wear my emotions on my sleeves sometimes in the games, and sometimes I have to apologize to players. Sometimes I have to apologize to refs because I'm not, you know, and fans. I'm not perfect, but I do know I'm gonna always be who I am. In the Skip process, you can't be who you ain't. He used to say that all the time. I'm just gonna be me, and I think that's good enough. And it's the same thing I tell our guys every single day. You don't have to be anybody else but yourself. You know, we talk about heroes a lot. And a lot of these guys are heroes from where they come, their families, their schools, their neighborhoods. But when you think of the heroes that we talk about, our military, the people that, you know, that serve, the policemen, the doctors, all they do is do their job. Mm-hmm. They're not superheroes. Yeah. They just do their job, and we consider them heroes. And that's what we try to do tell our guys to calm them down as well.
Yeah, you mentioned kind of that different mentality when you were an assistant coach, and you were at Winthrop as an assistant under Pat Kelsey, mm-hmm. who's really had his career take off now at Louisville. What did you learn from a guy like him, who's a really fiery head coach, but has had a lot of success?
Yeah, you learn a lot, man. I think, you know, PK's been great for me, just, you know, giving me opportunity. You know, I mean, it's hard to be a head coach if nobody ever gives you an opportunity. It's hard to get in this business. We had a relationship from when I played at Wake. He was one of the assistants there on a really, really great staff. You know, at the time as a player, I probably didn't know it as much. But when you think of Skip Prosser, Jeff Battle, who's at Georgetown, associate head coach, Chris Mack, who's the head coach now at College of Charleston, Dino Gaudio, who's the head coach at Wake after, and Pat Kelsey, who is now the head coach of Louisville. It was some really, really talented staff. And just being able to be around them, seeing how they operated, I thought Skip Prosser, you know, if I took anything, it was probably a lot from him, how he let his staff be stars in what they do, you know, and I have an elite staff. You know, and you know, I get the win and the losses. I understand that, but I mean, they do so much to make my job easy, and they do a great job connecting with our players and their families, all our families. Man, we would be nothing without, you know, our significant others being able to support us day in and day out, and you know, everybody in this program that we're building. When we say family, we mean that. Mm-hmm. You know, and everybody has a role. So I learned that from Skip, carried it on down from Coach Kelsey and the experiences that I've seen, and we're going to continue to grow on that.
A part of some really legendary teams at Wake Forest when you played there. What are some of the characteristics from yourself as a player that yet you've now kind of transformed and taken into your role as a head coach?
Yeah, I think it's those three things we talked about. It's toughness, it's your character, and it's talent, obviously, right? And I think one of my talents is to be able to bring people together and get them to attack one common thing, mm-hmm. you know, so that could be in the community, that could be at camps, that could be speaking engagements, that obviously with my teams and my staffs. Toughness not to give in, not to listen to what anybody else has to say. You know, I tell our group the only words that matter are the ones that's in this circle. Mm-hmm. When we circle up before or after practice, and that message has been really, really good to me throughout my career playing. And then we all have blessings, right? Everybody has a talent that, you know, it's our job to sort of figure out what that talent is, nurture it, and then put it on display.
Yeah. I think what's really interesting for you and your journey is you've been in this Carolinas region for a long time. Wake Forest, Winthrop, Western Carolina, now at Coastal. What do you like about this area of the country and being able to do your job here?
Yeah, I mean, I had other opportunities, you know, to go elsewhere, but you know, I told my agent, like, man, I want to stay in the Carolinas. Maybe that's because my mom would say because I'm the only child and I don't want to go too far. But I played a lot of my career in Europe, you know, and being away from home, so family is important. You know, being able to have my parents and my family come to the game, I really do enjoy that. I also think, you know, it's the hoop states. You know, the Carolinas, I consider is really, really good talent in both South and North Carolina. And I know the region really well, so being able to get some of those players and put them on display. But it's home. Yeah. And, you know, it's no place like home for me, so I'm blessed to be able to be the head coach here.
True to your roots. Yeah. We are getting around Christmas time. Obviously, a few games before that. You get a little bit of a break for the holidays. What are the Christmas plans for this team and kind of a little bit of that time off?
Man, Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. My family came down from Charlotte and made entirely too much food for everybody and blessed. And
that's a good thing.
It was great to spend time. We invited our players' families, our staff families. So it was a whole bunch of people here. We ate. Coach Taylor hosted our Christmas party this year. We just had with our guys. So we had white elephant gifts and it was a whole bunch of things going around. That was pretty funny. It was a good time. But it's more importantly is for our guys to understand what it's like to have a family. And they can see it from us. So the wives coming around, the kids, how we interact, how they help. You want to be an example in all phases of life. And that's one of the things we like to do is showing people come together. And there's no way to teach than you doing it out. You can preach those things a lot, but when they see you walking it and living it out, I think that's a bigger message to our players as well.
When you got a Christmas movie on during Christmas time, what is
Home
that?
Alone.
Home Alone.
Yeah.
I was watching that last night.
Yeah, it's a classic. We have these debates all the time, and mine is Home Alone. Maybe it's a childhood thing, but I have to watch it. My kids have to watch it. Mm-hmm. They think it's so old because the cameras aren't. It's 17K like they are now,
Right.
But it's a classic. The jokes are still funny.
Yeah.
We'll be watching that again coming up soon.
That adds to the nostalgia of it, right?
Yeah,
Christmas
for sure.
is a very nostalgic holiday, so
For
watching
sure.
those old movies, it's a great time. But now, obviously, we got the holidays, a lot of stuff going on, but conference play is right around the corner. Mm-hmm. You got one more game against NCAA and then Arkansas State. You open Sun Belt play. What are some things that fans can be expecting when you bring your team out for the conference?
Yeah, I think it'll be the same. We'll be a team that will be together. No matter what the situation is in the game, we'll defend. And we'll rebound, and we try to take care of the basketball. I think those are the three things. When we do those things, they give us a chance to compete and win a game. But we'll fight day in and day out. What I expect though is HTC to be rocking. Right, we need it. And these guys work extremely hard while everybody's at home and enjoying their families and they're doing all these things. These dudes are working, and when you work, you expect something on the back end, and we expect wins, yes, but that doesn't always happen. But we do expect is an environment that shows the work that they're putting in is worth it, and people do appreciate it. And I think we've had that since we've been here, and I thought the fans have been awesome coming out, and we're looking forward to. Whenever we play a home game, I can't, that seems like years away from now for me. But whenever it is after the new year, it'll be ready to go.
That's how I was going to cap it off. I just want to know what your message to Teal Nation is. We've had good crowds so far. There's been good energy, but conference play is a different animal.
Yeah.
So what's your message to Teal Nation to come out?
Show up and be proud, man. Like support the school, support our guys. You guys have been awesome. It's a blessing for us to be a part of Teal Nation. We cannot wait. I think we play on the 29th back here, but whenever you guys get back in town, students, we expect you to be loud, be proud, and it's okay. You can yell at the refs. Coach Gray says so.
Because he does it too. Coach, I appreciate it. Can't wait to see this team further on in the season.
All right. Thank you.
Any Home Alone fans here? That movie's a classic. Great choice by Coach. His Chanticleers will open Sunbelt play with the Arkansas State Red Wolves this Saturday on the road at 3 Eastern Time. The Chants just came out with a win over NCAA on Tuesday this week. Rasheed Jones, Noah Amenhauser each poured in 20 points, but now it's time to see how this team stacks up in conference. Over to the women's team, and Kevin Pedersen's group continues the chaos. The ladies in teal moved up to 8-1 with blowout wins over Presbyterian and UNCW this week. Wednesday night saw the Chants score 96 points over the Seahawks, where Mallory Bruce led the way with 23. Now they'll get set for one more non-conference match before Sunbelt action. It'll be against South Carolina State this Saturday at 1 Eastern Time at the HTC Center. And I swear, you have to come out and see this team play. They fly up and down the floor, they turn defense into offense, and they continue to create that chaos. The big event on campus comes on Monday, where the Chanticleers take part in the Myrtle Beach Bowl from their own stadium, right on the surf turf against UTSA. It'll be a national audience on ESPN at 11 a.m. on Monday morning. Both teams come in 6-6, and the Chants look for their third ever bowl win. We'll get to see Tad Hudson at the quarterback position for the first time. The North Carolina transfer gets an opportunity to shine on the big stage as the Chants look to defend their home with a bowl game victory. It's the Myrtle Beach Bowl, Coastal and UTSA, 11 a.m. Monday. Come out and see this team fight for a trophy right here at home. As always, another great episode of the Chant Pod presented by Revolution Mortgage. I want to thank Justin Gray for coming on and continuing to bring the energy and giving this men's program new life. Have a great holiday season, Teal Nation. Enjoy the festivities this week has to offer, and we'll see you on the other side. Sam Wiederhaft signing off. Chants up.